Today is the day. Chelsea is taking on PSG in what we call the finale of the FIFA Club World Cup first edition that is being held in the United States of America. The final is going to be played at the MetLife Stadium that capacitates 82,500 people in there. Chelsea versus PSG is the game. You all know who is obviously going to be the chief guest or the guest of honor. It's going to be the president of the US, that is Donald Trump, in there for you. And the halftime is obviously going to be really important, as performances are obviously going to be there to the fullest. So smash like button, comment and share. We're here to break down a little bit of Chelsea, and we're here to break down a little bit of Chelsea and a little bit of PSG. Now, most of you would want to know, how did Chelsea reach here? You understand? How did Chelsea reach here? Chelsea first played their first game in the FIFA Club World Cup, and they played against it was LAFC, and they beat it by 2-0. They went ahead to beat Chelsea went ahead to lose to Flamengo in the second game by 3-1. Then Chelsea went ahead to beat ES Tunis by 3-0, and they went to the round of 16. And the round of 16, they played a team known as Benfica, and they beat Benfica by 4-1. After beating Benfica, they went ahead to obviously play against Palmeiras in the quarterfinals. Chelsea beat Palmeiras by 2-1. And in the semifinals, Chelsea had to play Fluminense, and they beat Fluminense by 2-0. All those goals were scored by a man known as Joao Pedro, a new signing, and that has led them to obviously coming into the final to play the side of PSG. Now, after that, we go to PSG and we want to see what has the journey of PSG been like in the FIFA Club World Cup, and we're obviously going to be waiting and see who went ahead to obviously have a tough one. PSG opened up the FIFA Club World Cup with Atletico Madrid. Hard game. They beat Atletico Madrid by 4-0. PSG went ahead to play Botafogo. Botafogo beat PSG by 1-0. And then, after that, they went ahead to play their last game of the group stage with Seattle Sounders. And PSG beat Seattle Sounders by 2-0. Then, PSG played Inter Miami in the round of 16. Messi's side, they beat it by 4-0. Then FIFA Club World Cup quarterfinals, PSG beat Bayern by 2-0. Semifinals, PSG played Real Madrid and they beat Real Madrid by 4-0. Now, if you're really weighing in all these teams, we all understand that it's PSG that has gone ahead to obviously face the hardest teams: Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid. You know, I don't think that Chelsea have gone ahead to face any of the hard sides of Europe. You know, I think this is the first team that this is the first European team that Chelsea is going to be facing, if at all I'm not mistaken. That is it. Because if they opened up with Chelsea opened up with LAFC, they went ahead to play Flamengo, El Tunis, Benfica, I think it's the only team, Benfica, they've played at the round of 16. So it shows you that Chelsea is really a team that hasn't obviously gone ahead to face hard teams, and their way to the final has not all been that hard. But for PSG, you've had all the teams they've gone ahead to obviously face. It has been really hard for them to come in through and obviously dominate up to the final. Now, the side of Chelsea, Dario Esugo and Romeo Lavia are both struggling with muscular injuries. Then Badiashile is also a doubt. Noni Madueke is not available because he fled to London to complete his move to Arsenal. And Gittens and Estavo are ineligible to play in this tournament because they played for Dortmund and Palmeiras respectively. Now Maresca will obviously have to call in Levi Colwill and Liam Delap, who are suspended for the semi-final. You know why. And then PSG are really missing out on William Pacho and Lucas Hernandez, both suspended after their quarter-final red cards. You understand. Then Lucas Beldo will obviously have to come in through and be do the needful. Now, let's get into the probable starting 11 for the side of Chelsea as they take on PSG in there. So, the system for Chelsea is 4-3-3. You know that very well. And they are going to be having a very good goal. In goal, it's really going to be Sanchez in goal. And if at all you went ahead to watch the game of if you went ahead to watch the game between Real Madrid and PSG, you know that many saves that Thibaut Courtois went ahead to do. Not so? Now, that sends you a message that Sanchez has to be on top of his form, all in his best form, to come up and obviously not see this team really cause damage or havoc to him or to his team. So he needs to be up. And if at all Chelsea is to get something from this game, their keeper has to be in his topmost form. Right back, that is Rich James in there. Obviously, he's expected to play as the right back, a man who said that he's not afraid of a side called PSG. Left back, Cucurella Mark, who is really looking good, and he has gone ahead to really transform into a player that some of us knew way back to where he was. You know that very well. And then we go to the central defense. You are really having Levy, Colwill, and Tosin into the central defense, and really know what they can really offer on the day. So that is how we anticipate the back five of Chelsea is obviously gonna be looking like. Now, from there, we obviously get to the midfield, right? Moise Caicedo, he trained, but he never took part in the group training, but I know he's obviously going to be part of this game, because if you don't have him in, I think PSG will obviously have an easy ride in there. Alongside Enzo Fernandez, obviously, a man who said that he has gone ahead to obviously play in very many finals, and he has gone ahead to win many of those, will also be representing to the fullest. Then we also have a player known as Carl Palmer playing to the number 10 position. That is the midfield three that really anticipate. Right forward, obviously, is going to be Pedro Neto to really play that side. Then left forward, Nkunku, man that is getting into good books with the manager of Chelsea, and Joao Pedro obviously coming through to lead the line for the side of Chelsea. So that's how we anticipate Chelsea will obviously line up in this particular encounter. For PSG, we expect Donnarumma to be in goal, Ashraf Hakimi, right back, then Nuno Mendes, left back, Marquinhos and Beraldo in the central defense, then Joao Neves, Vitinha, and Fabio Ruiz in the midfield three. Front three, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, and Doe. That's how we anticipate PSG will obviously line up. But there are some battles that you're obviously going to be enjoying. Rich James taking on Kvaratskhelia. How many are really ready for that battle? Then Doe taking on Cucurella, and Tosin and Colwill taking on Ousmane Dembele. You understand? Now, let's go to the midfield battle. Vitinha, Joao Neves, and Fabian Ruiz taking on Moise Caicedo, Fernandez Enzo, and Carl Palmer. Who do you think will win the midfield battle? Can I get your answer, please? Who do you think will win the midfield battle? I'm really waiting for your answer into that. And the front three of Chelsea, Pedro Neto is going to be facing Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes has gone ahead to really pocket most of the forwards that he has faced in the Champions League and the FIFA Club World Cup. Will Pedro Neto do anything special? Then Ashraf Hakimi is obviously going to be taking on Christopher Nkunku. And then Beraldo and Marquinhos will be taking on Joao Pedro. You get? Joao Pedro and Marquinhos know themselves very well because they play for the Brazil national team. Now, as you see PSG having Kvaratskhelia as a left forward and Ousmane Dembele leading the line, interchanging and really trying to really make movements and their mobility, going ahead to disturb very many people or very many defenses that they face. Even Chelsea has it. Pedro Neto and Christopher Nkunku go ahead and obviously do the same. They do that game and they play it like that. So as it stands, we wait to see how those things really pan out. But I've told you what I'm really anticipating. Now, obviously, Luis Enrique is a more experienced man when it comes to finals. He has won the Champions League final twice, one with Barcelona and the other with PSG, and he's a winner. He has won the league for very many times, the La Liga and what we call the La Liga and what we call the League One. You understand? So he's really a man that you can obviously back on when it comes to finals. Enzo Maresca, not very many finals, but you understand that he is a man who really has a squad that can really fight to the max. Favorites are really PSG, but I think Chelsea can put out a very good game. And I see this game going to penalties. That is it. Yep, I see it going to penalties. And PSG are favorites, but I think Chelsea can shock them. But you're obviously going to be having a game. Obviously, I give PSG the trophy because I know they really have a more unit team and a team that is on fire. And in most cases, a team like that will obviously find ways of really winning the game. But also, you don't downplay Chelsea in this scenario. So your thoughts on to Chelsea versus PSG? I think in the full 120, it will end like 2-2. We go to extra time and we go to penalties. Donnarumma coming to the savior of the side of PSG. I don't know what your prediction is, but that's mine, and I'm really waiting for your say onto this. Rokani David is my name, and this is the first video of the day. As I promised you that I'm obviously going to be dropping this preview. Then later, we go into the transfer news. I'm out.